Hello, everybody. It's already third chapter. Today we will talk about sentence. Sentence. I think perhaps it will not be too difficult than before, but it is you must know. Before we talk about syntax next time. Then, first of all, let's clear up the concept of what the sentence is. Let's start today's lesson. Okay, guys, let's look at the concept of sentence and sentence components. 문장의 개념. A sentence is a form that has a certain phonetic form and certain semantic form. A sentence is grammatically defined that the composition of four morphemes, which is the smallest linguistic form, is the morphological composition. And the composition that is gathered again is the syntactic composition. Let's take a look at the concept of sentence components. The elements that make up a sentence are called sentence components, 문장성분, 문장 요소. It can be said that the predicate is the most central function among the sentence components. A sentence refers to a unified linguistic form in which the predicate is centered and other sentence elements are attracted to the predicate. Let's move on to the next page. Let's look at the concept and types of sentence components. 3 types. Main components, 주성분, subcomponents, 부속성분. Independent components, 독립성분. Number 1, main components, 주성분. A principal component is an essential component in a sentence. Essential components. Such as subject, object, components, and complement and predicate. Principal component is a component that is directly drawn to the predicate. Directly drawn. For example, let's read the below sentence together. Start. 나는 연극을 보았다. Can be divided into subject 나는, object 연극을, predicate 보았다. 서술어 verb. And second, subcomponent 부속성분. An auxiliary component is a component that modificates the main component or add meaning to it. Add meaning. For example, let's read the sentence together. Start. 수희가 자전거로 편의점에 갔다. It can be divided in each subcomponent. 수희가 자전거로 adverb, 편의점에 갔다, adverb, 갔다, verb, predicate. The main point is it's indirectly attracted. Indirectly attracted. A subcomponent is a component that indirectly attracted to the predicate. Number 3, 독립성분. 독립성분. Independent components. Independent components are components that are not directly related to other sentence. Not directly. There is independent word, 독립어. 독립어. An independent component is a component that is indirectly attracted to the predicate. For example, let's read together. Start. 야, 기다려. 같이 가자. 야. Independent word, 야, becomes an independent word. Okay, let's move on to the next page. I think you guys all know about this. Just summarize and review speedily. Let's break it down into word, phrase, and clauses, starting within the smallest units. Number one, words. Let's read the example sentence together. 철이가 춤을 춘다. If you break this sentence into words units, 철이가 춤을 춘다. Right? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 words. And second, phrase, 구. 구, let's read the sentence together. 누나는 매우 빨리 달린다. If you break the sentence into phrase units, 누나는 매우 빨리 달린다. We have to divide it into 3 phrases, right? And third, 절, clauses. Let's read the sentence together. Start. 동생이 노래를 부르는 것이 취미이다. We can divide it into clause units. 동생이 노래를 부르는 것이 취미이다. It's 2 clauses. It's a review of what you learned last semester. Remember? I think everyone already knows about it, all these parts. Let's keep going. The next page. Okay, let's see the main components. Number 1, 주어. 주어. The subject is formed by combining noun, 체연, plus subject particles. 이가. Do you know what there is? Not only 이가, the subject particles. I brought the basic form as an example. Let's read first all the sentences together. Start. 나무가 크게 자라니 그 잎이 더욱 무성해졌다. 할머니께서 손녀에게 생일 선물을 사주셨다. 마샤는 수업이 끝난 뒤 바로 광장으로 갔다. 너의 생각만이 항상 옳다고 여기지 마. It's all easy, right? However, in Korean, there are sentences with 2 subjects or more. That is double subject word or phrase. In Korean, 이중 주어문. The orange words, 이중 주어문. Look at the examples. 나는 가을이 좋다. 코끼리는 코가 길다. 김치는 우리 엄마 김치가 제일 맛있어. These sentences that looks like it has 2 subjects. Looks like. And this is called double subject sentence. 이중 주어문. Right? But in one sentence, they have just 1 subject. 나는, 코끼리는, 김치는. It's only subject in these sentences. Okay, let's move on. The next page about object. 목적어. Objects are formed by combining with noun, 체연, plus objective particles. 을을. Its basic form. Let's read the examples, sentences together first. 안나는 고기도 잘 먹고 채소도 잘 먹는다. 소냐는 커피 맛 아이스크림만을 좋아한다고 했다. 넌 빵을 좋아해? 아니, 난 떡을 좋아해. 넌 빵 좋아해? 아니, 난 떡 좋아해. 그녀는 앞치마를 1개를 더 달라고 했다. 그녀는 앞치마 1개를 더 달라고 했다. 왜 지나가는 사람의 어깨를 치고 그래? 그 아이에게 먹을 것을 주도록 해라. 그 아이에게 먹을 것을 주도록 해라. It's too easy. Let's move on. 서술어, predicative, or verb. Verb is included in predicate. The predicate is combined by noun, 체연, plus predicative particles. 다 or 이다. Let's read all the sentences together first. 안나는 밥을 먹는다. 사라는 몸이 가볍다. 조이는 고등학교에 다니는 학생이다. 할머니께서는 공원에 가셨다. 유리는 선생님께 선물을 드린다. 한국의 국기는 태극기이다. And then 한국은 제주도가 유명하다. 무궁화가 핀다. 나는 윷놀이를 한다. 에르미타주 미술관은 러시아 상트페테르부르크에 있다. 나는 친구에게 노트를 빌려주었다. 학생이 선생님에게 사실을 말씀드렸다. Let's move on to the next page. It's a subcomponents. From this page, it's about subcomponents. Number 4, adnominal. 관형어. 관형어. Adnominal is formed by combining noun plus adnominal particles. 의. It's only adnominal particles, right? 의. I said before that when 은는, 을, 던, 은는, 을, 던 is added in front of 체연. It's usually an adnominals. Remember? Let's read all the example sentences together. Start. 리사는 새 옷을 샀다. 하나는 강아지의 사진을 지니고 있다. 덕수궁에 가는 리자. 김밥을 먹는 안톤. 얼굴이 예쁜 나타샤. 크기가 작은 열쇠. 덕수궁에 갈 리자. 아침에 먹을 떡. 마음이 예쁠 거야. 성격이 좋을 거야. 저 두 어린 유학생은 초급반이다. 토야 책을 함부로 만지지 말아라. 토야의 물건을 함부로 만지지 말아라. And then the last two sentences about Toya's book, Toya's stuff. As in two sentences, the adnominal particle 의 can be sometimes, it can be skipped. 의. Adnominal particle 의 can be skipped. Let's move on. The next page is about adverb. Adverb. 부사어. 부사어. Adverb formed by combining noun and adverbial particle. 부사격 조사. Let's read all the sentences together. Start. 독도는 매우 아름답다. 여름에는 바다로, 산으로 휴가를 간다. 놀이동산에서 재밌게 놀았다. 비가 소리도 없이 내린다. 시간이 빨리도 가는구나. 소냐는 아직 과제를 제출 못했다. 소냐는 아직 과제 제출을 안 했다. 저 딸은 엄마와 꼭 닮았다. 햇살이 정말 따사롭다. 따사롭다. 하늘이 매우 맑다. 하늘이 매우 맑다. 꽃이 화려하게 피었다. I think you guys all know about this. I will skip explain. Let's move on to the next page. 독립성분, 독립성분, independent components. Independent word, 독립어. Let's read the example together. First, start. 어머나, 벌써 시험 시간이 끝나가는구나. 어머나, 벌써 시험 시간이 끝나가는구나. Let's read two times. 미희야, 빨리 와서 밥 먹어라. 미희야, 빨리 와서 밥 먹어라. 정, 이 얼마나 아름다운 한국적인 단어인가. 정, 이 얼마나 아름다운 한국적인 단어인가. 우와, 여기 경치는 정말 끝내주는구나. 우와, 여기 경치는 정말 끝내주는구나. 리자야, 이쪽으로 잠깐 올 수 있겠니? 리자야, 이쪽으로 잠깐 올 수 있겠니? 세종대왕, 그 이름은 듣기만 해도 자랑스러움이 느껴지는구나. 세종대왕, 그 이름은 듣기만 해도 자랑스러움이 느껴지는구나. Very good. As expected from the colored in yellow, 어머나, 미희야, 정우와 리자야, 세종대왕. It's all independent words. 독립어 are independent components. They are used independently of other components. In sentence, expressions such as exclamation, answering, and calling are examples of this. In this case, functioning as an independent language, there are exclamation, 감탄사 forms in which the vocative particles 혹격조사 야, 야, 리자야, 미희야 is combined with noun, 채연. So let's move on to the next page. Among the basic word order of Korean, the most fixed sentence components is the predicate. Predicate in Korean, the composition of the predicate is basically at the end of the sentence. At the end of the sentence, it's a predicate part in Korean, except for the predicate. The position of the remaining sentence components are relatively free. It's free. It is basic that adnominals and adverbs come immediately before the sentence elements they modify. Adnominals cannot move from their position, but adverbs can move. For example, in the sentence, the below sentence, 뜰 앞에 핀 튤립이 참 예쁘다. This sentence is correct. But the right side, let's read the sentence. 튤립이 뜰 앞에 핀 참 예쁘다. This sentence is not correct. It's wrong, right? Because 뜰 앞에 핀 is modifies tulip, right? Let's read the next three sentences. 아버지께서는 너를 무척 자랑스러워 하셨다. The adverb in this sentence is very. This sentence is correct. And the second, 아버지께서는 무척 너를 자랑스러워 하셨다. It's also correct. And third, 아버지께서는 너를 자랑스러워 하셨다. 무척. It's also correct. So, all the examples, moving the position of following verbs position can be moved. Let's move on the next page. Okay, there's something you need to be careful. What it is, the negative adverb. 아니, 못, which makes the negative sentence must be placed before the predicate. Let's look at the examples. 강아지가 사료를 안 먹었다. But the next two sentences, 강아지가 안 사료를 먹었다. It's wrong. Also, 강아지가 사료를 먹었다 안. It's also wrong, right? Both sentences are wrong. Indefinite adverbs must come before the predicate. And then, in addition, when an adverb modifies another adverb, an adnominal, a subject, an object, and so on, the position is fixed. And is placed before the components to be modified. Let's read the examples. 매우 빨리 먹는다. It's right. But the right side, 빨리 매우 먹는다, it's wrong. And also, 매우 빠른 속도로, it's right. But 빠른 매우 속도로, it's wrong. Good. Let's move on the next page. In Korean, various grammatical categories are realized by the grammatical morphemes, endings, and particles. Grammatical categories are not realized by word order, not word order. Therefore, Korean language has the characteristic of linguistic typology of three-word order. In Korean, 자유어순. 자유어순. I checked in yellow line. That is the movement of sentence elements within the sentences free. Let's see an examples below. 그 영화 많이 봤어요, 사람들? This is an example. The subject 사람들 is moved. And second, 많이 들어봤어요, 그 노래? 많이 들어봤어요, 그 노래? This is an example where the object 노래 is moved. And third, 오늘 예약이 가능한가요? 혹시? 오늘 예약이 가능한가요? 혹시? This is an example of the adverb 혹시 is moved. Or 혹시 오늘 예약이 가능한가요? Is also correct. Okay, let's move on to the next page. Now, let's look at the condition for moving sentence elements. Condition of moving. Number one, movement of sentence elements is possible only at the limit of clauses. Limit at clauses. Let's take a look at three of the examples below. 3 sentences. Let's read. Thought. 천둥번개가 쳐서 밖에 나가지 못했다. This sentence is correct because 천둥번개가 come after 밖에 나가지 못했다. But 쳐서 천둥번개가 밖에 나가지 못했다. 쳐서 밖에 천둥번개가 나가지 못했다. The last two sentences is wrong because 천둥번개가 쳐서 is a single clauses. 천둥번개가 쳐서 is one clauses. It must be come together. 쳐서 천둥번개가 doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Likewise, 밖에 천둥번개가 is incorrect. Clause must go together. And second, the adnominal cannot move beyond the word being modified. Let's see what it means. Let's read the sentence. 한방눈이 내리던 겨울에 그녀는 소설을 완성했다. This is correct. But the next sentence, 겨울에 한방눈이 내리던 그녀는 소설을 완성했다. It's wrong. Because the adnominal clause, 한방눈이 내리던, it's one clause. 한방눈이 내리던, is modify 겨울에. So it cannot move to other position. Understand? Let's move on to the next page. Two syntactic phenomena appear when the same referent component is repeated within a sentence. One is when the two components remain the same, and the other is when changed. In case of change, the phenomenon of omission, 생략, and substitution, 대치, occurs. Substitution and omission, 생략, 대치, occur across all sentence elements. First, look at the below side. Let's look at the omission of subject and object. Let's read the sentence together. First, 수진이는 진이를 만났다. 그리고는 얼른 말을 꺼냈다. This sentence in 기억 수진이는 is overlapped in this sentence. That's why 수진이는 the follows was skipped. Even if omitted, the sentence expression is not wrong or weird. Right? This is the second example. Read it loud. Let's read it loud. The second sentence. 이 소설책은 어제 산 것인데 한 번에 다 읽어버렸다. Here too, the subject 니은 소설책은 is duplicated at the back. So 소설책은 is skipped. Let's look at the third example. 안톤은 자기의 생각만을 고집하지 않았다. Here too, it's also 디귿 안톤. It appears repeatedly afterward, so I changed it to 자기의. Okay, it can be skipped because all the subject or object in sentence is repeated, overlapped. Right? Let's move on to the next page. Predicate about omission, skipped. In principle, the predicate is not omitted. It's principle. But when several sentences are connected to form a compound sentence, 복합문, the same predicate can be skipped. It can be omitted when it is predictable what the predicate is. For example, let's read the sentence. 지난 주말에 나타샤는 음악회에, 도냐는 전시회에 다녀왔다. 지난 주말에 나타샤는 음악회에, 도냐는 전시회에 다녀왔다. In this sentence, 기억, 다녀왔다. It appears twice in this sentence, right? 음악회에 다녀왔다, 전시회에 다녀왔다. It's overlapped. So the first one is omitted. And then 3, adnominals and adverbs. Its final part. Let's read the example sentences first. 세상에 대한 경험이 많은 사람은 그런 만큼 자신의 삶에 대한 철학을 가지고 있다. Here, 기억, 세상에 대한 경험이 많은 is modifying 사람, right? However, since the following contents is the same, did not use it repeatedly and express the 그런. Okay, let's see the second sentence. 따뜻한 햇살과 온도는 몸을 나른하게 한다. In this sentence, 따뜻한 is modifying both 햇살 and 온도. Since it appears overlapping, it is written only once before and skipped after. Let's look at the following example. Let's read it loud together. 민지가 도서관으로 갔는데 나도 그리로 갈 것이다. 민지가 도서관으로 갔는데 나도 갈 것이다. The adverb in this sentence is 도서관으로. Use twice in this sentence. So 도서관으로 is expressed as 그리로 또는 or skipped, omit. Okay. Okay, everybody. Today's class contents ends here. And everyone, today we talk about various things about sentences, about syntax. In the next time, we will talk about another story about sentence theory. You worked hard today. Thank you very much. See you next time. Take care. Goodbye.